If there's one thing that I'm learning when I'm doing this vlog, it's that I've only got time to spare in between when I arrive at the airport and when I get on a plane. That's why so many of these are done in airports.
I've been awaiting hard. Yeah, I've been just for you to answer. Yeah, I've been slightly
Off to Brisbane to run a 2-day workshop with the #1 gymnastics school in Australia. That should be different, not something that I'm used to, but it's going to be good. They're really excited. The leader there is an intelligent and very excitable chap. Looking forward to the discipline that we can bring to get this business in control. He used an interesting analogy. He said they work with Olympic gymnasts, and he said that if an Olympic gymnast came to us and said, them being the people who coach her, and said, well, I've decided to not engage your services, I still want to use your equipment, but I don't want to have any more coaching, we would think she was insane. So why does not the same apply to our business? Why is it that no one has ever achieved peak performance without a coaching sporting world, and yet no one considers that to be a necessity, or not many people consider that to be a necessity in the business world? Today I want to talk about the 3 things that are the most important for you to measure in your business. If I look at this little tripod as being that, so we've got one leg of this, which is the profit and loss. So we've got to know in any given period, are we earning more than the money that we're spending? Have we made a profit or have we made a loss? Second is, what do we own and what do we owe? Are the assets that we own greater than the liabilities that we have? And then the third leg is cash flow. So profitable businesses run out of cash all the time. So the third leg that must be monitored by any business is about cash flow. See, this tripod would not be able to stand up if it only had 2 legs. It would just fall over. That's the point. We must be monitoring all of those and understand all of those 3 things at any given time. Profit and loss, which says, did we sell more than the money that we have spent in a given period? The balance sheet, which tells us what do we own versus what do we owe. So what is our position? And then thirdly is the cash flow. So how is cash flow moving in the business? What I'm going to recommend is that every single day the leader of the business, the CEO, the managing director, knows the cash balance of the business and how the cash is moving. This is something that you can't outsource. Also, a 12-month rolling cash flow is what you should be working towards. That means starting with the assumptions of the bills that we currently have, transferring that at some point into an estimation of the bills that we will have, and then being able to marry those 2 up. So that means next week, how to start next week, what's at the start of the week, what's the expected bank balance? And then what is all of the money, all of the cash that we expect to come into our bank account in the next 7 days? And then what does that add up to? And then a separate list, what is all the money that we plan to pay out in the next week? And then subtract the money going out versus the money coming in, and then you've got a line which is the estimated bank balance at the end of the week. It's pretty simple. Do that for this week, and the next week, and the next week, and keep pushing that out as far as you can so that you've got absolute confidence on this third leg, which is the cash flow statement. Understand the profit and loss, the balance sheet, and the cash flow. Unless we understand all 3 of those, we've got serious problems. Or we could find ourselves in serious problems.
yeah, I've been slightly available. Yet when I call you, you don't pick up the phone.
Strategy versus tactics. So what's the difference between strategy and tactics? Strategy is the long-term play. Strategy is how you'll win the race in the long term. Tactics is how you're going to play in the short term. So strategy is longer and larger and creating more of a unique differentiation between you and the competition. And tactics are the little things that you do to get toward that strategy or to enact that strategy. A strategy might be over multiple years, whereas tactics could be over weeks or months. Short, higher impact in the short term things that you're going to do.
Slightly available, yet when I call you, you don't pick up the phone. I don't think you understand how.
I don't know if this is as much a question that I've heard a lot of recently, as much as a recurring theme that I've seen come through. And it's about who is the enemy. So this really mainly is about a B2B business, so business to business rather than business to consumer. So that is businesses who are selling to other businesses. And the question is, who is the enemy? So one might think that the enemy is the competition, but if you drill it down and put it to you that the real enemy in a B2B scenario is the tenders department, because the tenders department are people whose sole job in a business is to reduce all competitors to being equal and therefore have everyone playing purely on cost. And that is surely the complete opposite of strategy, because strategy is about having a unique and different position in the market where everyone will pay more for your good or service. So the enemy of that is the tenders department. These people who want to make you compete only on price. Everything that we do in strategic thinking and execution planning is about creating a unique and different position in the market within a strong business. Everything that the tenders department does in a business or a government is about making everyone the same. So these people are the enemy. The tenders department are the ones that we need to annoy, and frustrate and upset and make them very unhappy. That is the goal, is to make the tenders department unhappy. Why? Because they believe that everyone is the same. They believe that all companies are the same and that they know best and that everyone will play by their set of rules. The objective of strategy is to not play by those rules, it's to be different. So that this is everybody else and we are playing our own game. So when they say this is a tender to provide something, we know enough about what they really need to be able to perhaps comply with that tender, but also perhaps provide something completely different. So for me, when I started my company in 1999, I bid on a tender to re-cable 11 floors for the Insurance Commission. It was quite a large job in Perth. Now, we were competing against Australian Stock Exchange listed companies, large companies who had done this type of job over and over and over again. And we were literally, our company was weeks old. I arrived with my, at the time, partner and a first year apprentice who had, he didn't even know how to get his own lunch. He had no idea about what to do. So we put in a complying bid, but as well as recabling all of the communications cabling, the data cabling, I also put in a bid, an alternate tender, to replace all of the cabling with wireless, to have the whole building network in wireless. Now, no one else submitted that. We frustrated the tenders department, we showed that we were different, and we were able to win that tender, and that set up my company for years to come with a lot of work. Point is, know your enemy. The enemy in B2B is the tenders department, who want everyone to be equal, and they have these certain beliefs that everything is a commodity and they can drive everything down to price, because if you only compete on price, that's how you will lose the work. It's just a horrible race to the bottom.